Hello, this is Mr. Adams, and I am going to talk to you a little bit about the Pythagorean Theorem. So I've got myself a right triangle here. Let me see if I can, whoops, I do need that to be on, and let's take that ruler off. Let's try this again on the Pythagorean Theorem. Spelling and writing are definitely not my strong suits, but we'll see if we can handle this part here. All right, and Pythagorean Theorem says a squared plus b squared equals c squared. And here's a right triangle, and A and B are always the legs, and C is always the hypotenuse, which is, oh man, the longest side. All right, it's also the side opposite the right angle. So that's important to look and say, okay, here's our right angle. This side is always going to be the hypotenuse, and that's always the number that's going to be by itself when we write out the Pythagorean theorem. So if we've got some numbers here, and let's say I have A is 11, B I don't know, so I'll just call it X, and C is 16. So I've got my formula. I'll write that down first. So a squared plus b squared equals c squared. I know that this has to be c because it's the hypotenuse. It's the longest side, and it's the side opposite the right angle. And you can call whichever one of these you like a and the other one b. It really doesn't matter. So I have 11 squared plus b squared equals 16 squared. And I'm always going to put those in parentheses. It's not going to matter for this problem, but it will matter for future problems, so it's a lot easier to do. So 11 squared is really, that's the same as 11 times 11, which is 121. I don't know what b squared is, so I'll just leave that as is. And 16 squared is 256. Now, in order to solve this, I have to get the b squared by itself. So I'm going to subtract 121 from each side. So this just becomes 0. So I end up with b squared on this side, and I have 256 minus 121 on the other side, which is 135. Now I have b squared is 135, but I need to find what b is. So in order to figure out what b is, I'm going to take the square root of each of these. So the square root of b squared is just plain old b, and now I have to take the square root of 135, which is 11.619, but I think we need to round to the 100th, which is this place here, so our answer becomes 11.62. Working out another problem, I have sides of 20 unknown, and then 25 for my hypotenuse. So once again, my formula is a squared plus b squared equals c squared, and a is 20, b I don't know, and c is 25 squared. So 20 times 20 is 400, and I don't know b squared, so I'll just write that down. And 25 times 25 is 625. So once again, I need to get this b squared by itself before I can keep solving it. So I'm going to subtract 400 from each side, and that leaves me with just b squared on this side and 225 over here. Now I have to keep going because I don't have plane b yet, so I will take the square root of each side, and then I'm left with b on this side. And 15 over here. And that number makes sense because 15 is smaller than 25. If you get the answer here, and it turns out that this b number is bigger than 25, you know that you've got a mistake because the longest side has to be the hypotenuse. Hope this helps. Have a great day.